In late fall, when bass pull up around wood, rock, docks, and marina, there's two baits that I've found that draw the big bites, and the A-rig is one of them. And the Flash Mob Junior is probably the A-rig that's caught more bass than any other A-rig out there, because it's a great place to start when it comes to the A-rig. But here's the thing, most anglers actually overcomplicate the A-rig when they think about using one. And really, they have the wrong idea about where this bait shines. So I'm going to show you how to rig it. Even if you fish it from the bank, you can still throw an A-rig. Rod, reel, and line, locations, and cover you should be targeting this time of year, and the most productive retrieve that I've learned over the almost 15 years of fishing this bait. But first, geeks, we've got the November Tackle Warehouse BassGeek box. I've went through and picked out $50 worth of tackle for November that should catch them anywhere in the country. At least some bait should catch them anywhere in the country. And you geeks are going to get a chance to win it at the end of this video. Let's see what's in it. First up, we got you a football head jig. Absolutely killer this time of year. This is from Omega Custom Tackle. You always got to have a trailer for that jig, so we got you hooked up. This is the X-Zone Adrenaline Crawl in my favorite color for this time of year, Bama Crawl. And if you haven't seen this video, you need to make sure you go back and check this out. This is the first gen split blade. Got a very specific technique and type that we like to use this time of year, and it just slays. Next up, we've got you a Demiki jig head. This can be used for a lot of different things. One of my favorite jig heads to use, but we got you the bait to pair it up with. This is the Demiki Armor Shad Fat. You pair it with that jig head the way the bottom of that jig head is made, and this has got some incredible roll action. Make sure you tie the loop knot. It'll help. Now, if you like to fish around balls of shad during the late fall, early winter, this is a killer little sneaky deal. And we're going to do a video on this a little bit later on. This is the propeller jig head from X-Zone Lures. And what we're going to do is we're going to pair it with the X-Zone Swammer in the 2.75, so ultra finesse. This is killer little swim bait. Last but not least, since we're going to be talking about an A-rig today, we've got you the entire kit to fish the A-rig. It's got all of your swim baits, it's got your jig heads, it's got your A-rig. Now, let's talk about how you rig this thing. All right, so this I think is the Big Daddy's baby Tennessee River. I don't remember. Anyway, I think this is a Big Daddy's baby A-rig. And, you know, it's got a bunch of stuff on there. Anyway, you know, rigging the heads, they are screw locked. So, you know, you've seen us do that 100 times. If not, tell us. I've got a great A-rig video that really shows almost everything. So we're just going to go ahead and wrap this around about 5 to 7 times. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come through the bottom loop right here up to the top loop right there. And all you do is pull it down. Now, I kept a big tag in, but it's just for demonstration purposes. You can do it a lot smaller than that. You just cinch it down. You just trim that tag in off. Bank anglers, here's what I'm going to tell you about rigging this up so that you can fish it from the bank. There's two things that are very important. A, your hooks and your swim baits will probably be enough weight. You're probably not going to need any actual weight. If you're starting, use an EWG hook, but a thick wire EWG hook. If you just have to have some weight, use some very lightly belly weighted hooks. You could throw this from the bank. The big key, make your cast, keep your rod tip high. That's a big key. Keep it coming up to you because you're coming uphill. But 90% of the time, you can rig this with EWG hooks so that you can rig it weedless, so that you can rig it snagless, and you can rig it with just that and swim baits and keep it up off the bottom. Trust me, they don't come up and nibble this thing, all right? If they nibble it, they don't really want it. When they eat it, it doesn't matter if they're weedless, if they're EWGs, if they're exposed, not exposed, they get got. Hey geeks, first off, I want to tell you, I've got a couple of links from Amazon, and this is one of them down there. You should go check them out. Got a really killer, very affordable wacky rig tool, and we got some bobber stops, a kit that's crazy cheap and affordable, and got a ton of different versions. But this is probably one of my favorite things that I found years ago. These are the clear bait keepers, and with an Alabama rig, it's very important. I think you can get 20 of them for like 19, 20 bucks, maybe cheaper than that, and maybe more than that. There's some great deals going on. But these are the same sort of bait keepers that you're gonna get with maybe somebody's name printed on them. It's going to cost you a heck of a lot more money. So go check that link out. Trust me, I know a lot of you've already taken advantage of that, and they're quality made. I've had this one forever. I mean, I've had the ones I use forever, probably longer than I've done this channel. Now, let's get to the rod reel line. This is one of my favorite. This is my light A-rig rod, which that's what this is. It's 1/8 ounce all the way around. This is an incredible A-rig rod. It is the Cashin A-rig rod. This is a Cashin 7'10" heavy mod fast. That allows you to get a good long cast out of it. Now, again, we're gonna go back, you bank anglers, you can get away with just a flipping stick, or you can really get away if you're only using hooks, no weights. You can probably get away with a 7 foot, 7'6", somewhere in there. That's a medium heavy, but on the stiffer side. So you want it on the fast side. You'll be able to do everything you want to. So you don't even really need extra equipment until you start adding the weight to it. But this is an incredible rod, and if you're a bank angler, you should go check out some of the rods that Cashin has. They're built in America, even down to the blank. They build their own blanks right here in the US of A. One of the reasons why I love them. Now, I've got that paired with an old Lew's BB1. And somebody sent me one of those. I want to say, hey, thank you very much for that. That was awesome. It was the, this is the old BB1 Pro. I'll put links, they've updated this. I'll put links down in the description. By the way, listen, we don't do memberships and stuff like that because we want to include everybody. We want to help everybody catch more fish, and we don't think you should have to pay for it. So if you want to support the channel and you shop at Tackle Warehouse, make sure you go down in the description, get that link down there, bookmark it, or scan this QR code right here, bookmark it on your mobile device. That really helps us out, and it's the best way to help us out if you're finding value in what we do. So if you're beginning with an A-rig, something that I would highly recommend is that you use monofilament, 20-pound test. This is K9 Pro 100 100% fluorocarbon. I've got a 10% off for that. You can go try it, but I highly recommend you start with either their fluoro, which is their co-poly, or if you're new at it, I really recommend you go using mono because it's got a little bit of stretch. And if you make a bad cast with a heavy bait, it's super forgiving. So let's talk about fishing an A-rig and the things you need to target, the locations you need to target right now. Again, this time of year where I'm at, I'm absolutely going to be looking in those creeks to start with. So the first third, maybe the first half, and I'm going to be looking for any sort of timber, brush piles, cover that's in the water, because that's where I'm going to throw this. Now, another tip, and I think this is where most anglers overcomplicate the A-rig. I think a lot of guys think the A-rig, and I've had this comment a lot, that the A-rig is an open water bait, but it's really not. Think about it like a spinner bait. Now you want a little bit of wind, and we had a little bit of wind today when we were fishing it, and because that's going to break up the wire and all that. They're not going to get as close of a look at it. And I fish it just like a spinnerbait. Now I don't get it down into the wood like I would a spinnerbait tick in the wood, because of course 90% of the time I'm fishing it with open hooks. Again, you guys that are fishing from the bank, do the same things. Get those EWGs, rig them up. And the reason why I said get that heavy wire hook is because it's going to give you a little more weight, so you don't need the weighted heads or the belly weights. Run that sucker right across the ends of those trees and that wood. You can tick it. Don't get it down in it. Tick it and come across the top, and you're not going to lose your bait. Now, there is one thing about casting a Alabama rig, and it's kind of like a buzz bait. Sometimes it can tumble through the air. So when you get there, what you want to do is you want to stop it right before it hits the water and lift that rod tip just a little bit so it falls in the correct way and it starts swimming. You don't have the problems with it getting tangled up or hooks in the tails and all that as much. You're going to have some of that because it's just the nature of an A-rig, but that's going to save you a lot of good casts that get ruined otherwise. Like I always say, I love to fish this around cover, so I love to target trees, brush piles, laydowns. I would throw it around grass edges, that sort of stuff this time of year. I'm also going to throw it around rock, big rock piles, places where the bass can get right in there and snuggle up good and warm. You know, those banks that are getting sun all day long, those are the places I'm going to throw them. I'm also going to make sure that I'm around some sort of bait fish, whether it be shad or panfish. You'll notice most of the time I'm throwing shad imitating colors. If you're around, let's say your pond don't have shad, let's say your lake doesn't have shad, then throw those green pumpkins, put you a little bit of chartreuse on there, throw those panfish colors. It's going to help you out a lot. Now, when it comes to retrieve, slow as you go. Every once in a while you might even want to touch the bottom and have to give the rod tip just a little bit of raise, but a nice slow retrieve. And every once in a while what I'll do is I'll stop and then I'll give it a quick turn, and what that does is flares it out. It's the same thing and the same concept of fishing a spinnerbait. So when you throw it out there, you're slowly letting it contour that bank, coming back to you or bringing it uphill, kind of give it a little lift. You can either give it a little rod tip tick, that'll make it kind of pulsate, or you just give it a quick half turn of the reel handle to make it pulsate. Make those blades and those swim baits do something different. A lot of times, that's when you're going to get your bites. Now, hook set, if you're on the bank, you're going to hook set at 45. If you're on a boat, you're going to hook set at 45. It's going to be a 45 degree to a side set, period. That's what you're going to do. Drag them in. At that point, you should have strong enough line to where you drag that fish in. There's enough stuff swinging around that you do not want to take a chance of it getting leverage. Boat hop it, get a net. I'll be honest with you, with an A-rig, I hate getting a net. It's a tangled mess, even with the best of nets. Or, again, if you're on the bank, drag that sucker up there. Drag him up on the bank. You know what to do. So since we're really giving away one of the Flash Mob Juniors, here's what we're going to do to let you win this box. You're going to type in #FlashMob down in the comment section below to be entered to win the November Tackle Warehouse BassGeek box. That's all you have to do. #, all one word, all together, #FlashMob down in the comment section. All right, so geeks, if you want to see an incredibly in-depth A-rig, advanced A-rig tips, make sure you go check out this video right here. Otherwise, questions and comments in the comment section below. Make sure #FlashMob gets you entered to win. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you ring that bell so you get the notifications when they come out and be part of the 100% Watch Squad. You geeks rock.